Hi guys, welcome to another episode of 3 Geeks in a Pod. As you know, this is a second part of a two-part. Well, we recorded one long episode, and we're just kind of jump right into the middle of this second part of the episode. If you didn't hear us last week, go back and check out episode 6. And if you aren't familiar with what we're doing, we're taking a look at the year 2012 and all the things that happened to, 3 Geeks in a Pod. We Tangents, Debs and Errol, and all the other fun stuff that we do. Errol the Bald Guy. We talked about it a little. And then we'll get into, more geek news, and then there's tidbits of what's coming up in 2013 for us and other people. So we'll jump right back in.
Is this the front or the back?
This is the front.
Oh, hello, my name is Errol.
Jesus.
Are we supposed to say hello at the beginning?
Put down the freaking knitting.
I did.
Did we walk man pants and say hello, my name is Mappy?
No, I was falling asleep.
Okay, do we want to record the opening again?
No, that was great.
Alright, what else we got?
Errol, did you have anything in 2012 that you really missed or really liked? Or
Oh, I did all sorts of things in 2012.
not things you did, things you like.
But
Yes,
that's just
we know you
things
had many crazy adventures and you
I
gigged.
had all
and
sorts of crazy adventures. Can I talk about our origin story?
Oh yeah, we have the origin story. Of
We can do a 3 Geeks in a Pod origin story too.
Yeah.
You mean where Amanda started on her podcast and we just said let's rename the podcast?
No. I meant like
Origin
Errol
story.
the Bald Guy. Well, we can talk about man pans. Let's talk about the man pans. Did I already give this origin story many
don't know.
times? Back in the day,
Back
a year ago, Man Pans saw Debs and Errol in Monkey Man. Was that not? One of the
that was
plays.
actually more than a year ago.
Well, that was in 2011.
No, that was 2012.
This is 2012.
Oh, was it?
2011, you might have saw us.
Okay, I saw you then.
Yeah.
That's right. I didn't actually exactly meet you. I think I went up to talk to you afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And but you were high on cough syrup at the time.
Yeah.
So I just sort of said hello, and then I ran away.
Yes. But what and I think I mentioned it before, in September she decided that, I should ask Errol to write me a song.
Yes.
About Wheatley.
Yes.
And you
It
actually
was-
that's
it
on the
wasn't like,
internet.
I should
if you wanna
ask
look.
you. Yeah.
Now, and then eventually 2 months later, you asked me.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'll do that. Here, can you sing a song with me first? Because I wanted to get a song out for...
Oh yeah, that was like the next message.
Yes.
That was like, because I said like, do you want to help me write a song? It doesn't have to be right now. It can be in the new year. It's just an idea in my head. And you're like, yeah, sure. And then like an hour later, I get a message. Hey, you do videos, right? You should do a video. You want to do a video with me? And then...
So this is technically 2011, but it was December 23rd that video finally came out.
I think we recorded it December 22nd.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
And that was
in the new year, poor Man Pans was overwhelmed by
Yeah.
Errol.
I kind of walked away from it like, that was fun. I'll probably won't see him again.
Nope.
I didn't.
And then how many projects later? Oh my goodness.
We've done a lot in 2012.
We did a lot of
We did a
things.
lot in a year. I still did the Willis letters. We did the reviews.
I wrote our first musical.
We wrote the first musical. They did the How to Treat an Introvert that kind of
Yes.
exploded.
I wrote 50,000 words in a day.
We wrote 50,000 words in a day.
Oh, that was all sorts of fun. So you see, I had all sorts of fun. I also started, although this is probably not new. I started watching Sherlock. So that's
That was one of my favorite TV shows of 2012.
Oh,
I
good.
guess.
So is
See,
it
I consider that like
2012 thing?
2011-ish.
The season two is 2012.
Yeah.
I haven't
so
gotten
can
to
talk
season
about
2
it.
yet.
Yeah.
Watch
It won't
Sherlock.
take you long.
Oh no, I like it. I love it. The first episode I loved. I thought it was
Yeah.
amazing.
It gets better.
No, I don't doubt
Although the second episode of each season is probably their weakest.
Yeah.
it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. I like the
Like
first
it
one,
starts and ends high, the second episode.
though.
It's
Okay,
always like,
sounds good.
I don't know.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
So other things that I liked in 2012. That's just it. I can't remember because
Wait,
I did a
you-
lot of things.
Hang on.
Yes.
You did her origin story.
Oh, you want to do? Yes. 3 Geeks in a Pod.
Yeah, there are 3 of us, Errol.
Yes.
It's not just about you and Man Pans.
It all started with Errol and the Bald Guy.
But how did that start?
I'm trying to remember. I think I forced you.
No. No, you're remembering
I
wrong.
remember you
No,
telling
I
me,
remember.
you're
I
like,
remember
I want
you
to do a podcast. I'll ask my friend James. And then, because he wasn't Ja-Mez yet by that point.
No.
I said that?
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't have even been James at that point. It would have been James P. Sheridan.
James P. Sheridan.
Oh, James.
Because he's obsessed with calling me by my complete name for some reason.
Because there's a billion of you.
Yes,
That's
there
right.
is,
Every
sadly.
time we said, hello, James, and you just be next to us.
P.
you're like,
Sheridan.
P. Sheridan.
Yeah. And so, actually, well, I know you
Well,
wanted...
it started because you were hanging out with Devs a lot at that time because you guys were doing the album. You guys were doing all kinds
Wait,
of crazy
that came
Devs
out
and
in
Errol stuff.
2012?
Yes, that came out in 2012,
That
but
was
you
good,
talked about
too.
that in the Devs and Errol video, so I was
Oh,
going to
yeah,
leave
we
that
did.
alone.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So you guys did the album. You guys were working on stuff for the album, and you guys were talking about all kinds of crazy stuff you wanted to do to kind of promote the band and try and get it out there. And one of the things that you were really into doing was the comic. And
Let him talk!
Okay, I'm just put the knitting down.
Put the knitting down. So we were talking about the comic. Go ahead there, Ja-Mez.
well, you were doing the comic, and you're trying to find other ways to get the band promoted. And one of the ways you suggested doing a podcast, and I'd been chomping at the bit, wanting to do a podcast
Oh, cool.
for years.
That was my suggestion? Awesome.
You know, it was just sort of, you had a bunch of ideas, and at the same time, I was thinking, I really want to do a podcast. I really, really, really want to do a geek podcast because I've been listening to them for years, and I always thought they sounded fun. I always wanted to be on one, but I was never invited on one. I never kind of had the gall to kind of force myself onto one, and I never knew anyone who was doing one.
Right.
And I knew Errol had recording equipment. I knew Errol had energy and excitement, and he was geeky like I was, and
You didn't know that I could knit. Nobody
I
knew
didn't know that you could knit. I didn't know you could do a lot of things. And I figured, oh, this would be good. We'd be able to, come up with great topics and, discuss them in depth. And I had no idea what I was in for, so I suggested we do a podcast.
in depth.
And then we did the first episode, and it was just a meandering mess of just sort of
That was
me trying to
Amanda's
come
fault.
up with topics and you
On it.
tangenting all over the place. And that
remember that.
was about a year ago. By the time this episode comes out, it'll be almost a year since
So when was that?
the
Was
first episode of Errol. The first episode of Errol and the Ball Guy came out early in January. I think it was the first week of January,
it? Nice.
2012.
It's a year.
This will be, if you accumulate both podcasts, this will be the 26th episode, I think.
26 hours.
God,
Wow.
of useless talk.
It's not
Well,
useless.
don't forget, we lost half of an episode once because your recording equipment stopped.
Yeah. That's why I always reboot my computer now before we record, so it doesn't.
And
do
there's
that
also
anymore.
little tidbits we've done along the way that I've never released because I didn't want to.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And it's not useless talk, freak.
That was useless.
No, what was useless?
Calling me a freak.
That's not useless, freak. We can talk more about
Can you
your
two play
dating
along
life.
nicely?
That's useless.
We haven't talked about your dating life this
That's
week,
'cause
have we?
this is 'cause it's not a 2012 topic.
It isn't. Oh,
You
it
didn't date
is
in
a
2012?
2012 topic. Oh, what?
Nothing. Anyway,
Yep, that's how Errol and the Ball Guy started, and we soon
Yeah.
found our
Then Mad
chat.
Pants
and-
kept on asking, "Can I come too?" And so
Well, I think she was just sort of over at your place
"Can I come
because
too?
you always had her over for
I
stuff.
want to
and
be in podcast.
Why does she suddenly sound foreign?
there. How's it feel? Yarn in the eye.
I didn't have a breakdown like you had it, miss. There's a yarn in my eye. I can't
It's
see.
right in
Get
there.
the iodine.
Get the iodine?
Iodine? Just because it has eye in it doesn't mean that you
To
should put it
fix
in
it.
your eye. Okay.
Oh boy.
What other things? Oh, I read a comic that was cool that I just bought the new issue of.
Oh, is this the unwritten one?
yeah,
Yes.
I just bought the new one. So woohoo.
Sorry, what's this?
The Unwritten. It's a graphic novel series
Ah.
I'm reading. It's
Now, is it an actual graphic novel or is it a comic?
graphic novel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw my Twitter rant. It was a very short rant, but
I didn't see it. What did it say?
I'm very tired of the term graphic novel because I find a lot of very pretentious people use it improperly to describe comics
Well,
because they're too stuck up to actually say the word
they
comic
did
book.
come out in like single issues, and then they put them together in the.
So that would be a trade paperback.
okay, so
That would be a comic that's collected in a trade paperback.
Okay, so that's what it is then.
See, I find there's very few actual graphic novels out there. Stuff like Watchmen, stuff like The Dark Knight Returns, stuff that people consider to be graphic novels, even though they're collected works, came out as single individual issues.
Okay.
They are technically comic books. But people have, and stuff like Walking Dead, which people continually call a graphic novel. It's a comic book that's collected in trade paperback form or in hardcover form.
I guess it just makes it easier for bookstores because they don't.
It
have
does,
to have
and
a
I
graphic
understand
novel
that.
And then comic book collected in trade.
But what drives me
paperback
nuts is
section.
people who have to call it a graphic novel. They can't call it a comic book because comic book is so beneath them.
What's
The
the
form
graphic
of reading
novel?
kitty
What's a good
pages.
example of a graphic novel?
Mouse.
Mouse.
Mouse is a graphic novel.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think, came out as a single volume.
Did it?
Your Avatar series has been coming out as graphic novels rather than as comic books because they are larger volumes of in single individual volumes, but they're not.
They're single stories. Oh no.
No, they're released. They weren't released individually as
And then collected as like a 6-issue arc sort of thing.
That's often what happens when I'll go to the comic book store and ask them if like the trade paperback I guess has come out yet, and they'll say no, but we have the individuals here if you want them.
Yeah, and you don't want those. You just want the collected work.
Yeah, because I lose time.
No, that's fine.
Asterix and
you know what?
Obelix.
It's so much easier to
Obelix.
collect.
Asterix and Obelix. That's a
Yeah,
graphic
that would be
novel.
one. I know that the X-Men story God Loves Man Kills was a graphic novel, not a
V for
comic
Vendetta
book.
would have been a graphic novel.
No, that was a comic book.
Oh,
It
was
came
it?
out as individual issues. It actually came out with a different. It started on a different publisher, and then it was bought out partway through by DC. So now it's always put out by DC, but the original issues were done by a different company.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of actual. Anyways, the point I'm just trying to make is that I hate the pretension around the term graphic novel. Whether or not it's an actual graphic novel, I don't care. You can call Watchmen graphic novel if you really want, but if you're too stuck up to actually say that you're reading a comic book, because let's face it, graphic novels are actually comic books. It's the same art form, it's the same method of storytelling, it's just a longer form of it.
Right.
If you're too stuck up to say you're reading one of those, stop reading them. I couldn't care less whether you read them or not. Mm-hmm. I just hate the pretension around the term and the idea that, I'm too important to be reading kiddie books and
I'm too important. to
monthly
take that
issues
man,
and
says Man Pants.
What the crap?
can always count on Errol to make it weird and awkward.
Can we announce something? That's exciting for 2013.
In the middle of an episode?
Oh wait, 2013. That would be a 2013
Yeah.
thing.
Do we have anything else left from 2012?
I've got a lot of stuff from
Okay,
2012.
what do you have for 2012?
Well, some stuff that I was really enjoying. I wanted to mention the Nickelodeon TMNT cartoon, which I haven't actually got to mention on the show because it was just starting
Yeah,
when
last week.
I haven't mentioned in like. No, well, I mentioned that it's on, but I haven't really talked about it.
Okay.
And it's sort of it's really cool because it's bringing back Turtles in a Big Bad Way, because you have the advertise. What are you laughing at?
I don't know why. It feels like that would be like a catchphrase or something. Turtles in a Big Bag of Way. I realized that's not it at all. It's like Turtle Power or Turtles in a Half Shell or something.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Turtle Power.
That's it. That's just when you said, bring back turtles in a big bad way. I just imagined an advertisement saying it, and I got amused by my own thought. That's all.
I'm glad I can
I think
accidentally
you're,
amuse you,
relating
man.
that to
Pants.
men, though.
Murder you. That's what you're making up for last time. No more knitting for you. Give me the needle.
Oh, it's fine.
I'm glad you're having so much fun, Errol.
Oh, yes.
Poor man pants.
Anyway, keep going.
Well, I'm really excited that Ninja Turtles is back. Ninja Turtles is probably just as popular, well, getting as popular as it was in the 80s when it was in its big heyday. I mean, they came back in the 2000s, but it wasn't nearly as popular.
Did you ever have those green cookies?
I don't know if
We've
it'll
talked
be as
about
popular
those.
as it is in the 80s,
What?
Jamaz.
Have you been to a Toys R Us store?
No, I have.
My 3-year-old nephew is in love with this show.
Do you think they'll get to the level where they worried about kids going into the sewers? Because that was a worry in my town.
I think the thing is that like back then, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were weird enough to be like, oh wow. But now there's so many weird things out there that it can't, only because of the flood of the market. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it won't be popular. I'm not saying that it's not extremely popular. But now there's also a glut of other things that it won't capture like a whole school.
It's not as fresh and as new as it was in the 80s, but at the same time, you also have a factor that you didn't have in the 80s where you've got an entire generation of people who grew up on Turtles, giving Turtles to a new generation. For instance, me at Christmas with my nephews, who are absolutely in love with this show, apropos of nothing that I did. Like, through no influence from me, they just sort of discovered and fell in love with this show. And I loved that so much that I went out and I bought them, toy masks and toy weapons. And I bought them, the turtle van. My mother gave them, all the action figures. And we set this all up for them on Christmas. And I gave them all 4 movies. And they immediately sat down and watched all 4 movies in a row. And then immediately started watching all 4 movies again. And, I mean, these are kids who have no attention span whatsoever and are so in love with this thing that it reminds me of me when I was their age. And I'm really glad to see that's carrying over to a new generation, because it looked like for a couple of years that, the only people who appreciated Turtles anymore were guys like me who grew up on it and just didn't want to let it go. I wouldn't even say geeks. I'm talking about like Super Turtle fans, because I think the mainstream geeks weren't even really that passionate about Turtles for a long time. And I mean, there was a period in the 2000s when they came back to TV and started coming back in action figures, but it wasn't nearly the same. But now they've got a new comic series which has been fantastic. IDW has been reprinting all the old comics, which I've been picking up. They've been reprinting them in hardcover, which I've been picking up. They've been reprinting trades of even the old Archie comics that they were putting out. And it's, I mean, I can, I can.
Archie?
Well, it was still written by the Mirage people who were doing the original comics.
Right.
It was just being published under the Archie brand as a sort of tie into the TV series, where it was character designs and character concepts similar to the original animated series, but they went on a huge tangent, and the characters went slightly darker and had different story paths. I mean, literally one went black, like just all black.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, it's stuff that for years, that unless you collected the comics as they went along, it's really hard to find this stuff. But now it's, if you know where to look, you can find it now. And I'm collecting all this stuff as it comes out, and I'm finally getting all these Turtle issues that I wanted as a kid. And, I had a couple trades when I was growing up, but I read them so often that they actually fell apart. And, I lent one to a friend and never saw it again. And I was so mad. And,
Rotten friend, what's his name?
I don't remember.
Maybe he's listening.
No.
Return it!
And there were storylines where,
I'm here for you, Ja-Mez.
Thank you. The story was sort of a to be continued, and then I never got the next issue for it, so I never knew what happened next. And now that I have the hardcovers, I can kind of continue on. So it's a nice era to be a Turtles fan, because I can enjoy it as an adult Turtles fan, but I can also enjoy it through the eyes of my nephews.
Oh, that's cool.
And if I have kids of my own, I'm hoping that it'll still be around for them.
Children.
Yeah, eventually. I would like to be able to pass this kind of stuff on, and I really like that there's a new generation.
The genes on.
Oh, Jesus. Do you have to make everything weird and awkward?
No, please continue.
I'm talking about children, and you're getting all weird and giddy, and like I'm talking about sexuality and your wife, and I don't know.
That's how you
my
get
wife.
children.
I understand that's how you get children, but there's...
That's good. You've accomplished the first step.
That's a good pickup line.
Oh,
I
boy.
understand how children are made. Would you like to join me? What else have we got for 2012?
A couple of one thing that we didn't mention while we were talking about Wreck-It Ralph this time, but I mentioned it last time, was Paperman,
Oh, yes.
which was a little short
that
that
was a
came
nice
before
little
Wreck-It
thing.
Ralph. I thought that was a fantastic little movie,
That
and
was lovely.
if you guys get a chance, when Wreck-It Ralph comes to DVD, check out Paperman, because it's very much in the same style as a lot of the Pixar shorts that they do before all their movies, and I thought that was fantastic. Another series I wanted to talk about was Saga, which was a comic book series that came out this year. It's sort of a proto Star Wars, but it's a little more violent and a little more sexy, and the art's really it's a little more mature, but it's a really well done story, and it's only about 8 issues in, because it's a very slow moving story, but it's really well done, and it's a huge talk of the town. So I recommend that to anyone who wants to go and see this. Do you guys want to talk about the top pirated films of 2012?
Pirated.
Yes, the films that were downloaded most.
You don't know what pirated means?
Oh, I know what pirated
That's
means.
when they steal movies.
I know, but
by downloading on torrents.
I just didn't know people made lists of them. So
People make lists of everything.
Yeah, they do.
The top 5 men Matt Pans will date.
Errol!
We should make that list.
Oh my god, no! You wouldn't even be able to guess.
Russell Crowe is one.
No way!
No, Hugh Jackman was.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I thought you wanted Superman. Because of his big bushy beard.
Very, very specific stipulations for dating Superman.
Only with a beard.
Only with a beard.
Okay. Can you guys guess what the top pirated film of 2012 was?
I can't remember what movies came out in 2012.
I'm gonna say Batman.
Batman was not. Batman was third.
Third. What was number 1?
Project X.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. I've never heard of it before. What I'm surprised about with this list of pirated films is that, not number 1 you would expect to be the top movie of the year. So Avengers, Batman, that kind of thing. But they're down on the list. Avengers is number 4. Batman is number 3. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was number 2.
Okay.
Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows was almost as much as the Avengers. 21 Jump Street, A Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Oh, 21 Jump Street was a good one.
Errol's starting all over again.
All over again.
I got lost.
Watching him knit here.
I think we're distracting him with our podcast.
Yeah, I know. Good grief.
Maybe you should save the knitting for later.
No, we're doing well.
Okay.
We're doing well. Yes, me and Amanda are doing well.
I'm giving you guys a chance to talk. This is like the best episode for you two ever.
Except your interludes just tend to be about man pans dating. Or ways to bug man pans.
Character.
Oh God. Anyway, what was that? What else was down there? The girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
That one was okay.
The
We
have
Dictator.
reviews of
Ice
some of
Age
these,
Continental
too.
Drift.
Yeah.
We Tangent has a bunch of reviews on these if you ever want to check it out on our We Tangent channel on YouTube.
Yes.
Yes, check those out.
Check it out. We tangent. Yay.
And while you're there, check out the YouTube for 3 Geeks in a Pod and Errol and the Bald Guy, where we did a nice long Brave review. And
Did you see our end of year review? And
Did
then I linked to Errol and the Bald Guy video channel.
you?
Oh yes, I did see that. Yeah.
If you watch it, I have like secret links all over it.
Yeah.
This is the Linus and Lucy song.
No, this is the end of year review.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, so in the end of year review, like for example, when I
Wait,
hold
did
up-
you link to the Errol and the Bald Guy or the 3 Geeks in a Pod?
3 Geeks in a Pod? Sorry, 3 Geeks in a Pod.
Don't forget to check out Errol and the Bald Guy, too, because that has most of our videos on it, sadly. You want to talk about dead people?
Oh, who died?
Who died? A couple people, not as much as last year, or at least I couldn't find as many notable people as last year. Probably the biggest one this year was Neil Armstrong,
Oh yeah.
who, as if you don't know, and I'm really sad for you if you don't know, was the first man on the moon. Captain of the Apollo mission, Apollo 11. Very successful mission that, won the space race for the United States and got NASA to the moon and, debunked a bunch of myths about what the moon was and has for generations flummoxed fanboys who still seem to think that we haven't landed on the moon. Shut up.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's a good ending to most arguments.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Anyways, Neil Armstrong passed away. Really sad. It's, not that he was, going to be walking on the moon anytime soon, but still big hero. You can only put up so many true explorers of their time. And
That's true.
I mean, of the recent, he's probably the biggest name in exploration in the last 50, 100 years that I can think of. And
Yeah.
maybe Jacques Cousteau would be the only other one that would really, which I don't mean to, belittle the other, astronauts and scientists who there was a lot of people who helped put him on the moon, and
Yeah.
he just happened to be the guy who stepped on the moon. So I mean, there was
Yeah.
also Buzz Aldrin, and there was also
Buzz Aldrin, yeah.
all kinds of other guys who went up there too
He
and walked on
stepped first.
the moon. And it was. There's a lot of really important people behind this, and I don't mean to belittle them, but I mean Neil was the first, and he was the one who passed away this year, and it's sad to see him go, but
Yeah.
may he rest in peace.
And who else?
I don't know if you pronounce it Gary or Jerry, but Jerry Anderson, creator of the Thunderbirds, which it wasn't my big thing. I figured that might be more of Errol's generation sort of thing, or was that even before your
Oh,
generation?
Thunderbirds was that the
The weird puppets
The
that
puppet
the
thing.
planes.
I watched those
Did you watch that?
all the time.
That inspired
Those
Team
were weird.
America.
And then like you saw like close up, whenever time they needed close up, it was on hands.
It was
They
actual
had
hands that did it
actual
because
hands.
puppet hands you can't control.
Yep. What else?
Jerry Nelson, who, if you don't know that name, he was a
Nope.
Muppeteer, famous for doing
Ooh.
Count Von Count on Sesame Street, and he was the Muppet announcer
Oh.
for every episode. And
That's sad.
yeah, he was. There's a really funny, if you can find it, it's totally inappropriate to Jerry Nelson, but while I'm thinking of it, it's a very funny video out there where someone has taken a music or segment of the Count from Sesame Street and bleeped out every time he says count. So it sounds like he's saying something naughty. So he's walking around the room talking about all the things that he counts, but they beeped out every time he says count. So I beep the spiders on the wall, I beep the candlesticks, I beep myself when I'm alone. It's hilarious. It's an absolute.
And then he died.
And then he died. But I mean, yeah, he was a huge part of the Muppeteers, and I've got a huge place in my heart for the Muppets. And
Yeah.
sad to see him go. I was really heartbroken about that one. This one's not as geeky, but he did play Kingpin in the Daredevil films. Michael Clark Duncan, who went tragically early, died due to a heart attack.
Ooh.
Tony Scott,
Who's that?
director.
Is that Ridley Scott's brother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
who apparently had some mental health issues, and we're not really sure what happened, but he ended up leaping off the Golden Gate Bridge and took his own life.
Oh, okay. That's really tragic.
Yeah, really sad, but I mean, it's worthwhile mentioning him. A lot of people are really heartbroken about his loss. And it's really important that, I think it's really important that people address mental health issues. And if you are experiencing, suicidal or depressed thoughts, please go and find help. And
Talk to
We-
Ja-Mez.
if you want to talk to me or if you want to talk to other people who are out there, you can find,
Talk to Errol. He listens.
there
to
are
feelings.
hotlines for this stuff.
Has tactful advice.
She's lying.
And then the final one I wanted to mention, who passed away this year. You guys might not remember the name, but you've seen his stuff. Ralph McQuarrie. He is a painter and artist who did a lot of concept art for like automakers and airlines and whatnot. But he's probably most famous for doing a lot of the concept art for the original Star Wars films.
Oh, okay.
So if you've ever seen like the very prototypical or the very early design for like Darth Vader, or there's a really cool painting of the droids in the desert.
R2D2, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
R2D2 and 3PO.
And it's like really 70s looking, and it's really cool. But
Yeah,
it doesn't look
the-
like them, it does.
Yeah, 3PO looks very much like the robot from Metropolis, which, I mean, he's always looked like that, but even more so in this painting. And, I mean, you see the original design for, like, the Millennium Falcon and how they were originally thinking it. And he had a huge impact on what Star Wars ended up looking like and the design behind that. And, I mean, he'd been getting old for a while, but it's sad to see him go. Some other, like, top geek news from this year, things that we didn't necessarily mention, but I thought were worth kind of addressing. The Felix Baumgartner skydive from space,
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
was amazing.
That wasn't so much a geek thing. That was a huge world thing.
Well, it's a space thing. It's sort of astronaut-ish
It was
thing,
very
but then
big.
very corporate sponsored, and it was just a really cool thing to see. And then the Mars rover Curiosity landing on, which if you haven't seen this, go and find it. There's a like 10-minute video called, I think it's called 7 Minutes of Terror or something, where they put together the entire process of trying to land this SUV sized rover
Yeah.
on Mars and all the different stages they had to go through and all the massive amounts of calculations I had to go through just to make sure that every stage went exactly right and went off at exactly the right time, because if things didn't go right in one stage, everything else would fail. And it had to go so perfect, and they only had a small window of opportunity to do this, and they were doing it entirely blind. Because the amount of communication time between Mars and Earth, it takes so much time. It takes something like 14 minutes for the signal to get from Mars to Earth.
Yeah.
So by the time they start, they know that they're starting the ascent on Earth. The Mars rover has already been on the planet, whether dead or alive, for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
They won't know for another 14 minutes whether or not they've succeeded. So it's this huge, horrifying 14 minutes where they're trying to follow along, and then 7 minutes of the actual procedure, trying to break the atmosphere at just the right pitch, trying to, disengage certain stages, trying to deploy the parachutes at just the right stage, trying to deploy the rockets at just the right stage, but disengage the rockets at just the right stage, because if you don't disengage the rockets, you're just going to kick up all kinds of dust, and it's going to ruin the sensor array on the rover and make it completely useless, and then trying to land it softly in just the right place. And it's an amazing video that just makes me drool over how amazing these scientists are.
Yeah.
And just blows my mind that these people do this and nobody cares. Like, I had a friend ask me, what is so important about this Mars rover thing? And I showed him this video, and I don't think he got it, but it blows my mind that these people can do this.
It's not just a matter of chucking a car at
like
a
when
planet.
people say, I'm a rocket scientist, that's not a small thing.
Yeah.
That means something.
Yeah.
And it just encapsulating it in a term like that, rocket scientist, you kind of just gloss over just how complicated that entire career path is. And there's hundreds of these people trying to do this for a living, trying to build these things and trying to find new technologies and new ways of doing it, trying to advance technology, trying to advance space pursuit. And in so doing, they discover all kinds of cool little inventions and all kinds of different devices and new ways of doing things. Like, we find new ways to insulate clothing and houses because of the way they insulate spacecraft, and they find, better, thinner kinds of material to put on the visor of the astronauts, helmets and whatnot, and we get that in our glasses that protect us from UV, and we don't have to have as much coating on our glasses. And
Errol figured out how to knit.
Errol figured out how to knit. He's a little rocket scientist himself.
He's making a very concerned face.
Yeah, because I think he just accidentally undid a loop. I don't know. I don't mean to go so space geek, but I absolutely fell in love with this year. Fell in love this year with the whole space program, and I thought it was. I'm really disappointed that I didn't understand what it was before, and I'm really disappointed that they get. I think it's something like less than 1%, or
they don't get
less
a lot
than like 0.1% of a penny on every dollar spent in the American.
Yeah.
Federal budget and whatnot, and it's you see billions of dollars spent on this stuff, but it's not billions of dollars spent and wasted. It's this money's going towards something, and you may not understand the results of where it's going, but you do end up seeing it in things that trickle down, like new technologies that we end up with within our own household, and better shoes because they've been tested with various different polymers in space, and we get better bedding, and we get better food, and we get better, it's just amazing what we see, and nobody appreciates it.
That was like a really impassioned speech.
It is awesome. Because it drives me crazy that people don't.
And I didn't even interrupt.
No
Yay, Errol.
I just think it's really important that people understand how amazing space is. If you don't understand and you want to learn, look up a guy named Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is a poet.
Are there geeks out there that don't know who he is?
Me.
Oh.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is a astrophysicist who's responsible for, those big telescopes that look into space and see all kinds of cool, flashy color things.
Yeah.
He's responsible for all that stuff, but he is an absolute genius, and he is a wordsmith with trying to explain just how amazing and beautiful and incredible, not just science, but the entire universe. And there's videos out there of him talking about how there's one that he talks about how some people look at the universe and how big it is and they feel small and insignificant and irrelevant to the grand scope of things. And he tells those people, that's not how I see it. I see how big the universe is, and I see how important I am in the grand scheme of things. Because the molecules and the atoms and the minerals and all the stuff that's in me date back to the very beginning of the universe.
Yeah.
Those same atoms and those same molecules existed way back then. And it's just this random happenstance that we happen to be here, but it's such an amazing adventure from the very beginning of nothing to where we are today, that this planet nurtured single cell organisms, and then, aquatic life, and then, it should listen to him talk. I'm not doing it justice. Look up any video by him and listen to him lecture.
Okay.
You will fall in love with his voice and the way he tells stories and the way he puts things together. And he puts things together in such a beautiful, impassioned way that it really makes you fall in love with what he's talking about too. So that's something else I discovered this year. I know Neil deGrasse Tyson existed long before 2012, but he's worth listening to. He really is.
Anything else?
Other big things from 2012, Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah. I guess you got to mention it at some point. Yeah.
Everyone's tired of hearing about it, but I mean, it's out there. It reached 1 billion views, which is amazing.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I still listen to it on the way to work in the morning.
I mean, that means 1/7 of the population of the world has watched this video.
Wow.
Do we have nothing better to do with our time?
Nope.
No, actually, I think I'm really glad that it became that popular. And not because he's Asian.
Because he looks like you.
And not because he looks like me. No, because he's not. He's like Weird Al of South Korea, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And he is someone that is not. He wasn't trying to be pop.
He's not a sex symbol. He's not sort of.
He's not a pop cultural sensation. I mean, he is.
He is
but
now.
He's not like a K-pop superstar. He's not like a Justin Bieber. He's not like a Katy Perry, right? He is some guy that was making fun of Western civilization, or people copying that, and that of affluency and trying to be socially, whatever. And this became a huge hit because he was mocking that, and that's why I think it's really hilarious, because it wasn't something mindless like Friday was. I mean, people like Friday. That's fine. I don't care. But, it wasn't something
Can I confess something?
Yes?
I don't hate Friday as much as everybody else does.
I don't hate Friday.
It's not a great song, but I felt so bad for that poor Rebecca Black kid that she got so made fun of when it wasn't her fault that the video was terrible. It wasn't her fault that the song was terrible.
She's a teenager.
She was a teenager who just wanted to, be a musician. She just wanted to be a pop star. And
no, I don't think she just wanted to sing in a video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just became really popular, so...
And everybody blasted it, and people were giving her death threats, and I don't understand that mentality.
I never understand the death threats on YouTube videos. Like, really?
Well, I don't understand them to begin with, but I mean, I really don't understand in this case. It's just a kid trying to sing a song. If you don't like the song, you don't have to listen, but how did it become so ridiculously popular when everybody hates it? I didn't think it was that terrible.
Nope, I don't think it was that.
No.
I mean, it was bad, but it wasn't.
I think people just like.
It wasn't offensive.
No.
Well, someone was describing to me yesterday when they were talking about something being an atrocity, something like that. Like it's an atrocity, and
what, like killing 6 million Jews, or?
Well, and so someone told them, like, okay, let's just talk about that word, atrocity.
Yeah.
This is not an atrocity. It's like this might be annoying, but it's not an atrocity. Let's put things into perspective.
Yeah.
Here. Oh, I know what it was. It was because at the AGOE we went to see the Frida Kahlo exhibit, and what you could do if you went on opening, you could get unibrows, like felt unibrows, and get your picture
amazing.
taken in them. And so people were saying like that's in very poor taste. It was like
in poor taste, yes, but an atrocity.
And so atrocity is like let's just like look at this for a second.
I think you're exaggerating just a little.
Just
there.
a bit, yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that Gangnam Style kind of became what it was.
I liked it.
It wasn't my favorite video. I thought it was kind of weird and ridiculous, but I liked the outcome of it. I like the fact that when YouTube did that big sort of compilation of all its biggest stars of 2012.
Rewind YouTube style.
Yeah, they did part of it to Gangnam Style, and the other song I didn't think it was so offensive. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Call Me Maybe, which I know everybody hated, but I didn't hate as much either. I love the
Cookie Monster version of that. Have you seen
that?
That
was good. That was really cute.
Oh man, you have cookie, so share it maybe.
But everything with Cookie Monster is better.
Yeah. What else you got?
The other big story from this year, which we did cover, so we won't go into, but I thought it was worth mentioning again, Disney buying Lucasfilm.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is probably the biggest story from...
Let's not go back there.
Well, it's just, it happened, and it was, an important thing. It's, if you really sit here and think about it, it's a mind-blowing story into itself, just because I never thought that Lucasfilm would be so rejuvenated that we'd ever see more Star Wars. But, I mean, it's coming. It's, whether you want it or not, it's coming, and... I just can't believe we live in a world where Avengers is the top movie of the year and there's going to be more Star Wars. If you had to told me at the beginning of 2012, I would have assumed that you were talking along the lines of, the Grand Mayan Apocalypse or whatnot. And
I guess that's another news item.
Oh, yeah, that we didn't die?
We didn't die.
Yeah, we're still here.
I guess it's not really news.
Either that or we're still in purgatory where all we're going to do for the rest of our lives are podcasts.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I'd enjoy it.
Yay! Okay, what else?
I think that's pretty much it for my side of things for 2012. Do you guys have anything else you want to mention from 2012?
We did a musical. That was about it.
Didn't I mention the musical?
Okay, I meant stuff that's not us, but we can talk about stuff we did in 2012.
It's not important.
No, I'm not saying it's not important. I've just...
He didn't like it. Did you even watch it?
Yes, I watched I watched it as soon as you guys posted each episode.
We love you, Ja-Mez.
Love you, Ja-Mez. Anyway.
Hope you didn't love him in that way.
He'll stab you.
Go back to your knitting.
Why? Anyway.
I'm just happy it was a year full of, Avengers and Ninja Turtles and comic books and not much Ghostbusters this year. That was kind of disappointing.
Disappointing, no Ghostbusters. Although they are making
Whatever you would.
film.
Are they?
2013.
Are they?
You can't see it, but Ja-Mez has a really crazed look in his eye right now.
Because I want the movie, but I don't want the movie, but I want the movie, but I don't want the movie, and it drives me crazy every time news tidbits come out.
Because it could end up like Indiana Jones 4.
Yes, and that's what I'm afraid of, but it could also end up being...
We're going to go to their old
like Avengers.
Like Avengers. But
you can do these things right. I'm just not seeing them doing it right, and I'm just tired of getting the tease of all this news, and then nothing ever comes of it, and then...
That's usually why I don't really mention a lot of things that I'm looking forward to, because you never know.
I want Ghostbusters, though.
2013, we have news. Can we mention news for that?
You guys have news for 2013?
Yeah.
Errol's too busy with his knitting. What's your news for 2013, Man Pants?
I think we can announce it, actually, because...
Good guys.
I like how you turn towards Man Pants in order to burp. You're looking down at your knitting. You could easily just burp down, but no. You have to turn towards Man Pants and burp directly at her.
I didn't eat the garlic.
Oh my god. Anyway, yeah, I think because by the time we release this, it'll be announced on the website and stuff.
When is it going to be announced?
I don't know.
I know, I've been checking.
I've been checking too, so I sent my stuff in. Anyway, so Errol and I, and Debs and Errol, and then me, and his Weed Tangent, are going to be at a convention in Guelph in 2013 as guests, community guests. So we're going to be doing panels. Debs and Errol they'll be performing.
I hope they let us perform. There's no point in having us there.
Do they not know there's a Ja-Mez too?
Man Pans applied.
I applied.
Oh, okay.
I just said
I'll just go back over to my dark corner.
No, you can come too. Help with the panels. I'm going to be doing an adventure game panel.
I'm
joining.
Got
approved for that. Errol's joining. He's going to do the old adventure games, and I'm going to do the new adventure games. But it's at Conji in Guelph, and it's in February 22nd to 24th.
This is one of the ones that like Dr. Horrible or Dr. Holocaust goes to.
Yes.
I still want to meet that guy.
Oh,
that guy makes me laugh.
Because his panels are always funny because he'll be doing like Evil 101.
Oh, I don't care what he's doing. I just want to meet the guy because he's hilarious.
Yes, he is.
His videos always make, especially his half beard. I know we're going back, but his half beard made me laugh so hard. I loved that video so much. I was watching it at work, and then all of a sudden he's just yelling "beard." and I had it at full blast at work, and then everybody kind of looked at me like, "Oh, turn down, headphones in."
Doing work. That was funny. Yeah, no, he's a really funny guy. Who else is going to be there? My friend Devin's going to be there. He's known as Featherweight. He'll be doing like, he does a lot of cosplay, and he does amazing stuff with cardboard. He actually makes a lot of puppets now. So he's actually gotten to making more Muppet type puppets.
That's cool.
And
Can he make 3 Geeks in a Pod?
Oh, I want
Muppets?
that, but we'd have to pay.
He makes hand puppets. And
I'd be willing to pay, but I want to get like caricatures of, the 4 of us, the Debs too, and like.
Sure, he can do that.
I want to just. I think, and if we ever did a video, we could do the puppet video, and I think it would be great.
I've been wanting puppets for a while.
The hand puppets range from $25 to $30 each. And,
I mean, okay.
Has more money than I do.
I don't have a lot of money, but I mean, if I only have to pay $30 to get a hand puppet of me that looks like a Muppet, well, Muppet-ish.
No, it's not a Muppet. That's just the hand puppet. It doesn't have the mouth thingy.
Oh, it doesn't have the. Oh,
it just has the arms in it, but they look really
good. If he
good.
can do the mouth, like
that costs quite a bit more.
I might be willing to pay quite a bit more. I just want me as a Muppet, damn it.
Take a look at the hand puppets. They're actually very well done.
Are they really well done? Okay, I'll take a look at them.
Yeah. He actually made my TARDIS, the TARDIS that you see in the musical. He made that for me for Christmas last year. So that's our big 2013 news. I'm really excited about it because I went to it last year and I enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, I want to do panels, and now I can. So
I want to do a Miyazaki panel.
He wants to do a Miyazaki panel. I might want to do a panel on like how to make a web series on No Money or something.
Why can't I join you on that one?
Well, of course you're going to join me on that
yay!
one. God. And that's the big news for 2013. So
when is this panel or this con again?
February 22nd to 24th.
I'll have to see if I can make it that weekend.
You should. It's pretty. Oh.
That was lovely, Errol.
Sick. If you're not knitting, you're burping. If you're not burping, you're just teasing about dating lives.
Poor man.
Or talking about Totoro. Oh, you found your scarf. Good for you.
Errol's wearing his Totoro scarf, which you can see in the Debs and Errol recap video.
Yeah.
So is that your news for 2013? Do you have any other news?
2013.
You guys have any other big projects coming along?
I'm working
another
on
musical?
Not another musical. But
is this your reviews?
Manpans and I are working on something.
Yeah.
A new web series.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can I be in this one? Since Errol kicked me out of the last one and told me I couldn't come.
I told you couldn't come?
Yeah, you weren't allowed, you wouldn't let me come.
What are you talking about?
Because I was sick and coughing everywhere, and you said your frail little body couldn't take it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
No, you only invited me to one of the records, and I was sick that day, so I couldn't make it because you were doing the big group thing.
Didn't I send you, like, man pants and nurse you back to health?
What?
That's a great look, man pants. See, sometimes this has to be video so they can see the glare.
Oh, the doom.
So hard done by. Anyway, no, we're working on a new web series, so it'll be a lot smaller in scale. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's only like 2 people.
Us.
Because after the last musical, we learned we hate people.
We need a break from scheduling. I need a break from scheduling multiple people. It's my grandmother's best friend's birthday. I can't come that day. And then I'd be like a huge...
Hey, Jamez, you want some pork rinds?
I'm not a big fan of pork rinds.
I was boring.
You know what we do need to do? We need to sit down and record the commentaries.
Ooh, yeah, that's what we should do.
Wow, that was like a huge...
That'd be fun.
Wow, I just made Errol jump out of his chair just about with excitement.
I think it'd be all sorts of fun.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be fun.
We can eat pork rinds.
You just really want pork rinds right now.
Maybe.
So would we do them as individual, just do little 10-minute commentaries for each episode?
Yeah.
Or would we just do one big commentary for all the episodes?
No.
That would be insane to try and get out back on the YouTubes.
Maybe.
And it would also be a very huge file. That's the thing.
Yes.
Well,
huge file.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to do commentaries. So.
Okay.
That will be like
it's too bad
an
that
hour,
you couldn't have
Jamez.
Too bad you couldn't have like an alternate track on your YouTube videos.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Where you, like if you wanted to have a commentary track, you could just, people could turn it on or.
Some people.
I don't think we have an hour. Do we have an hour?
No, we have half an hour at most, I think, on our vids.
Do we have custom thumbnails?
Yeah.
I like the custom thumbnails.
I still haven't figured out how you do that.
Well, I not all accounts have it, and I think you have to monetize your account first.
Yeah, mine. I don't think ours is monetized. How do you monetize an account?
Well, you just enable it for monetize, and then you can monetize each video, but I haven't monetized one.
No.
So.
I don't think we're popular enough to be monetized.
No, I don't think Debs and Errol is popular enough to be monetized.
I don't know. You guys
getting
got
up
pretty
there.
popular pretty quickly there.
I know, but we're still not popular enough for monetization. Neither is We Tangent.
Now there's Wee Tangent, not even close.
Once we get up to 1 million, maybe. But you know what?
A million?
Well,
Yeah,
three
we're not
geeks.
gonna get that.
We're not going to get a
No, we
million.
aren't.
People
But the thing
monetize on
is,
less than
I
that.
hate monetizing if it's like, if you see, look, you have 100 views, let's monetize now. And then it's like, oh, is it worth looking at? No, I'm not going to bother.
What time is it now?
It's 10:30.
Okay, we should probably wrap up soon.
We've got all kinds of 2013 stuff to talk
Okay,
about.
what 2013 stuff?
Well, there's stuff coming out. All kinds of stuff coming out.
What kind of stuff?
There's comics, there's video games, there's television shows,
Yeah,
there's movies, there's...
We've been talking a while. Can we get into specifics?
That's what you do in the... Well, yeah. So, moving on to 2013. Is there anything you guys are looking forward to this year?
I'm hoping that my game comes out, actually.
What game?
You have a game?
Yeah.
You made a
I
game?
didn't make it. I've been waiting for it for a couple of years now, and it keeps
Is it
getting
called
pushed.
Myst 5?
It is not. There is a Myst 5, and it was okay.
Okay, Myst 6.
There will not be a Myst 6.
How do you know?
Myst 5 was pretty complete and final.
Oh, okay. Myst movie?
Oh, I don't know what's happening with that anymore.
Myst action figures.
Oh, I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, but
There's
you
not
would
much
have
Myst
it
coming
if
out,
they're
is there?
No, I wouldn't. I never get.
Can you have a bite?
Yeah, sure.
There was that Myst book that came out. That was pretty cool.
There was 3 of them.
There was 3 of them.
Oh yeah, no.
I only saw one. No. I'm talking about the book where it opened up and it had the screen inside and you could play Myst inside the book.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fun. No, it's called The Last Crown.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I
And
think
it's
yeah.
a sequel to the game I already have called The Lost Crown. So this one's The Last Crown. And I can't wait for it to come out because I love Jonathan Boakes' games.
I really hope there isn't a third game in there and where they have to try and mention another crown, but it's not the last crown.
It's gonna be a trilogy. So this is gonna be
So why would you call it the last crown? Shouldn't that be the last episode?
The last one was called the Lust Crown.
I'm done. That's my 2013 news. Oh. Okay, we're good.
Well, basically, I just have a list of like big things that are coming out in 2013 I thought were worth mentioning. So I'll start with simple things like I know you guys like video games and the Nintendo Wii U just came out, so there's a whole bunch of potential for that, and I really want to try that. I can't wait to see it.
It was funny because I was talking to Errol about it. I do want to try it too. It's funny because I can't help but look at it and just think in my head like I don't like change because it's so different. And so was
but
the
so
Wii
was
as
the
well.
Wii when it came out, and you got used to that.
We got used to that, but we were talking about like there's 2 screens. Why do you need 2 screens? So many buttons and.
Well, to be fair, they've been doing that with what was it, the DS for a while.
Oh yeah,
There's 2 screens on that.
That's
and
true. We got used to that, but I don't know. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested. To see
I want to try it out. I want to try a few games out for that. I'm usually interested in the Mario games and see what they do
It'd
with
be
that.
good for multiplayer aspects when you need to keep things secret.
Yeah, but I think you can only use one of the tablets at a time.
What?
And then the other controllers will be like Wiimotes and stuff like that.
I know a couple of the games. They have the screen remote is used by another player using like in a sort of co-op mode, so they can play along with the.
Like in the new Mario Wii game, you can use it to build little blocks that the person can jump on if there's a puzzle that's too far out of reach, and you don't have like a flight suit in this one, or I don't remember what the flight suit in the new one is, but. They've always got some sort of
as long as they don't have spring coil Mario. Ugh.
Spring coil?
Ugh.
I don't know that one.
He bounced around and he turned into a spring coil and he never bounced in the direction you wanted him to, and then it was just
You were one of those people who was really frustrated with the Mario Wii game, weren't you? Where it was all co-op and you could either play against each other.
At that game.
I love that game so much.
I just kept dying. And
That's why you bubble before you die.
Well, I can't. Yeah, the bubble. No, I can't play those games very well because I get very. Anything like Super Smash Brothers, like the Mario.
That
co-op.
I don't like because you're in competition. But what I liked about the Mario Wii game was that you don't have to be in competition. Unfortunately, some people are jerks.
It's just that I can't make sense of what's going on the screen
when there's too many people.
So I lose track of who I am.
Yeah,
and then I'll think I'm fighting, and then no, I'm just over on the left of the screen running at a block, like continuously.
Wow, I'm kicking ass as Kirby. No, you're Kid Icarus, and you're dead. Oh,
yeah. Anyway, so what else is coming out?
Metal Gear Rising, which some people like. I'm not a huge Metal Gear fan.
Yeah.
SimCity,
There's a new SimCity.
Yes, which I'm very excited about because I love SimCity.
Now, can you destroy it with a monster?
Of the story.
This is one of the rare instances where I love a video game that's not about a story, but I love whittling away the hours just building stuff in it and trying to manage your city. And I mean, I usually love most of the Sim games, but SimCity was always my heads and tails favorite. Resident Evil 6, which I mean, a lot of people. I like the gameplay, but I'm kind of into the story. But at the same time, it's one of those games where it's the not zombie that I take issues with because they take so many liberties with a zombie story. But I won't get into that because I've already done that one at length. And then Final Fantasy Online, which is going to be they've taken one of the Final Fantasy games and they're going to make it. An MMORPG.
How many love triangles can you do online? Oh my goodness!
What is with you and love triangles, Errol?
No, that's a Squaresoft thing.
I know, but you pick on love triangles and drama.
Yeah.
Any game that has a love triangle or drama, you just kind of lose interest in.
Good old triangles.
Are you making fun of the way I say
No.
triangles?
No.
Yes.
Stupid face.
Please talk about your triangles.
Oh
Triangle?
boy.
What's wrong with the way I say triangle? That's how you say it.
You're right. I'm not. Go ahead. Talk about the triangle.
You're just making me paranoid now. Don't say triangle. It's not how I say it.
I'm not saying
I think you two are tired.
Moving on. Another 2013 thing.
Another game that's coming out that I'm looking forward to is Grand Theft Auto 5, which I don't know much about, but I love the Grand Theft Auto games, so those are always fun.
A lot of these are sequels.
Yeah, a lot of them are. One that's not a sequel, but sort of a spiritual sequel, Beyond Two Souls, which is from Quantic Dream, who made Heavy Rain.
Oh,
yeah.
They're having a new game. And they also made Indigo Prophecy, which is another great game you should play.
Yeah, I checked out little bits of that. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't play it. I watched someone else play it, and the story didn't captivate me nearly as much as Heavy Rain.
It's a much different story. Much different.
Yeah. And the gameplay really kind of confused me. But anyways, I think this one, I think they perfected their gameplay. Well, they polished their gameplay with Heavy Rain. I think they can take another step forward, and it looks like it's going to be another story-heavy game.
Purple Rain.
What's this one about?
I don't know much about what it's about. All I know is that it's starring both voice and motion capture of Ellen Page, who's an actress I like.
Yeah, Ellen Page is good.
So, I mean, none of these games have really had a name star behind them sort of thing. It's always just sort of word of mouth about how good the game is, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
That's great. No, I'm really excited now. Like,
yeah,
I gotta go home and Google it now and see what it's about.
I just hope it lives up to Heavy Rain, or like they've taken
what they've learned from Heavy Rain.
Me, I loved Heavy Rain.
It's like you guys have something in common now.
You mean besides Errol?
Yeah.
Besides Errol, woohoo!
So some TV shows that are coming back this year that have been on hiatus. I know this one only recently went off the air, but it's one that I really enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to it coming back. Is Walking Dead, which I know don't mention it on this show because you guys don't care. So
well, It's just I watched the first 2 episodes and I got completely turned off by it.
Really? I love it.
Yeah, to love triangle again.
Yeah. Don't worry, that ends.
I saw a poster for that, like someone like photoshopped the poster, and they just instead of The Walking Dead, it says people arguing, and sometimes zombies show up.
That would be an apt description of the show, but I love the show anyways. Because you can't always make it about zombies.
No.
It's got to be about people, and it's got to be about their interaction.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why people complain about the people interaction. It's not going to be always about zombies. It can't always.
Oh no, I like
anyways.
people interaction. It's just the people interaction that's there that I saw was really aggravating to me. And
I guess maybe I have a higher tolerance for it, but another one that I'm really looking forward to the return of because I didn't think it would actually happen was Community.
Oh, is it actually happening?
It's
now?
actually coming back.
Oh, good. I love that show.
That's one of my
very
favorite
much.
shows.
I love the video game episode. I love.
Which where they're actually playing the old 8-bits. Yeah, that was a good one.
Great.
I love when they do any of those side sort of episodes. Like one of my
Yeah.
favorites was they were doing flashback episode, but it was flashing back to things that actually didn't
Never
happen in the show.
Yeah, it was a clip
Because
show,
they have
but none of the clips from any episodes that
Yeah.
actually happened. So it's like, remember when we
Like
went to that ghost
that's what I
town?
love about Community is that they can do they know what they are and they
Yeah.
can do those sort of poking fun at other shows while still poking fun at themselves.
And the best part about that clip show was that later, those fake clips became plot points in future episodes.
Yeah.
Like it came back, and
And then there's one of my other favorites was there's an entire episode where one of the characters, Abed, is having his own adventure in the background of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't hear anything about it. You just see it visually happening in the background where
He
he's helping
delivers
this
a
pregnant woman.
baby.
He delivers his baby. And this entire other plot line goes on. At the end of the episode, he shows up and they go, "Hey, Abed, where were you this week? We didn't see you very much." He's like, "Oh, I was doing my own thing."
one of my favorite episodes is still like the Christmas episode with
Where
Glee.
they're all the stop motion animation.
That one was good, but for some reason, the fact that they were making fun of Glee the next year,
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I think it was because of my dislike of Glee, and just it was such a perfect episode.
But what I was really impressed with, not only did they nail the style of Glee,
Yeah.
and they nailed the personality of Glee, they actually got the mysterious piano guy who shows up in episodes of Glee,
Oh yeah,
which I only noticed because Deb's when Debs moved in, I started watching Glee with her, and I noticed that in a couple episodes, this guy just magically shows up in the background playing piano, and it's always the same guy, and they got him for this episode of Community. So I went back and
I
watched this
didn't
episode of
realize
Community. I'm
that.
like, wow, they actually.
they walk into the room, they're like, "Who's that guy?"
Yeah.
He's just sitting there at a piano,
And they just call it out, and it's just this weird random moment, and I don't know. I thought then that entire show from top to bottom is probably my favorite show, and it's,
It's
just
gonna be
so
interesting this year because Dan Harmon's gone now,
yeah.
and he's the showrunner, and so.
But at the same time, Chevy Chase is gone too, so I'm really happy about that.
I'm not sure how I feel about. I know
I
there
don't
was,
like
I know
him at
there was a
all.
lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, but
I just think he's old and cranky, and I don't like him on the show. I don't care for his character, and I don't think he adds anything to the show.
Does he play the same character he always plays? Would you guys know that?
no, I'm just thinking of his previous movies. Not exactly.
No, he plays a stodgy old racist dude who's not even aware that he's,
Racist.
bizarre or racist or anything. And he just like shouts out and says weird random things at times sometimes. And all the jokes in the show pertain about how old and weird he is, which are fun, but at the same time,
He did have
his
a little
character
bit
gets
of
really annoying.
development, but I think his issue, and I can agree with it, like that his character wasn't really going anywhere,
and it wasn't.
and he was kind of sick of that, and it wasn't his type of humor. He didn't like doing that humor in the show. He
So
was
why
like,
did he
this
sign
show
on
isn't
for it?
funny, and
I don't know. I find it weird that he complains about that in the third season, not the first season, when I think the humor's been pretty consistent throughout.
yeah.
I think the style's
No,
been.
well, it's gone a bit more wackier. I think the first season, when I watched it again, it was a little more. It was different. It was just like a different sort of feel.
See, I find it funny you say that because most people, I think, say that the third season was less wacky and they didn't like that as much. I found
Oh, are
it
you
just
serious?
as wacky.
It was insane.
It was insane, but I
Like
liked that it was
had,
insane.
Like, the air conditioning repair school,
And then Chang's
conspiracy.
little dynasty. And
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did like that when I first watched the first season. Anyway, we won't stop talking. We're gonna keep talking about Community.
I'm happy to talk about Community because no one ever wants to talk Community
Senor
with me.
Chang, the Spanish teacher. A lot of people
And how
don't
much
like Chang.
I
like
love how
Chang.
much the deans become a character.
Yeah.
And his appearances just keep getting funnier and funnier.
Yeah.
He's got a little web series he does now where it's just him in his office, like talking to students or employees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Any other shows?
Yeah, big one this year, 50th anniversary of Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I finally caught up on Doctor Who.
Oh, I need to do that.
So I saw the
have
departure
DVDs
of the
Good, I'll borrow.
the departure of certain characters and the sort of second introduction of the new companion, who is really, really cute. I really like her.
Yep, she's another cute one.
Well, not only is she cute, but she's adorable. No, she's adorable, and she's
There's the cute one.
Jesus.
She's entertaining though. I like her. I
Like
do like
that's
her.
I don't just like she's got a cute look, but she's also, when I say she's cute, she's got a really cool personality, and I feel like she's a character that can kind of challenge the Doctor.
Yeah,
which he
I
really
feel like
needs.
that too.
Which is something I really liked about Amy early on. Mm-hmm. Was that she was somebody who wasn't going to take all the Doctor's crap, and she was ready to call him on when he was looking weird or ridiculous.
Yeah, the only thing I worried about, and I know people were talking about it, was in the Christmas episode there was a little romantic thing. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, but they've done that with so many other
I
companions.
know they've
the
done
last
it with
few-
so
like,
many
it's-
others. So just
I'm inured to it as long as they don't do an actual romantic thing where it's just sort of once in a while implied. Because I mean, here's this magical man.
She's like flat out kissed him.
Yeah, but I mean, how many other companions have kissed him too?
Many others, yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, this weird magical man comes down from nowhere and enriches your life and changes things. And
I know.
it's hard not to kind of fall in love with that kind of.
Yeah, but and then you can fall in love. I still miss Donna. Is I guess what I'm saying. I do miss.
I like Donna too.
Yeah, she was
which
a good companion.
surprised me because I hated her first appearance.
A lot of people did, but she really
She grew on me.
And I think. Yeah,
And
anyway.
I know a lot of people complain
The
about
only
her, and I was really
unfortunate-
disappointed with her. But I thought Martha started out really well,
and
I thought she had potential to be someone who could challenge the Doctor as well. But then
Yeah.
she just became the lovesick sort of.
then she became the rebound companion.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping this one won't be the rebound companion.
Well, it looks like they're doing a little bit of it, but what I like about her is that she's not taking. She's not going to let him
sweep her up.
do
with
that.
me. Yeah.
like she. And I find it weird that they're starting this thing where she seems to have infinite lives, where she just sort of respawns somewhere else and then.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what happens with that.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to do an entire plot line about that, and I like
Poor
that there's.
Errol, he's completely in the dark now on this one.
He's too busy knitting.
I'm knitting.
Oh no.
This is my fourth Totoro.
Oh boy.
Are you going to do a big Totoro with this one, or?
No.
Just gonna be an army of little ones.
His poor wife is going to come down one day, and she's just going to see Totoro everywhere.
The thing with the 50th anniversary is that they did want to get Christopher Eccleston back for it. I know they wanted to get all the Doctors back, as many as they could, for like a big old.
See, him I'm not
reunion.
as interested in. What I want to see is Tennant back.
Tennant would be cool, but Christopher Eccleston actually wants nothing to do with Doctor Who anymore.
Well, he didn't really want anything to do with it when he was doing it.
Hang on here.
I just miss Tennant. I love Matt Smith, but there was something so magical about Tennant when he was on it that I do want to see a Doctor crossover where you get the last couple Doctors on. And I mean,
Why am I letting you do this?
Errol's playing with Man-Pants phone, so they're a
Just
little
keep
distracted.
helping him find the things.
I don't have internet, so I shouldn't go on it.
What are you doing?
I want to go download the Totoro pattern on your phone.
Oh, for crap's sake!
Your phone's right there.
Your iPad. What about your iPad? Oh, you just had to get up and walk 2 feet. Huh. I wonder if Amanda's data plan will support this.
Jeez.
Okay.
What next?
Okay, so we'll just leave Arrow to it. No, I'm really looking forward to it. It's the 50th anniversary and everything.
Do you think they're going to do a Doctor crossover?
Oh yeah, they want to.
They want to, but are they actually going to succeed? Like, I love the Time Crash
would
one.
come back in a second.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that.
In fact, there was rumors after when he was leaving that they were going to do a out of continuity Doctor Who movie to go to the big screen with him. And I'm so mad those rumors didn't come to fruition.
I'm not
Because
necessarily.
I just want more Tennant.
Yeah, I know. Tennant was great.
Tennant could make any episode of Doctor Who watchable. No matter how bad or ridiculous it was, I still loved... No, there was not a single episode there that I couldn't enjoy just because Tennant was there.
Really? No,
Yes.
Not a one? I could think
Oh,
of a
there
couple.
were some bad episodes, but I still enjoyed watching him, regardless of what else was going on.
Oh, yeah, well, he's always awesome.
I mean, come on. I put up with Rose for an entire 2 seasons just to get to Tennant.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Rose so much.
Oh, poor Rose. Even though I don't like her either.
She drove me crazy.
It's not the actress. The actress is fine. It's the character that she had.
Yeah.
Good God. Anyway, what else?
You guys want to know about some comics that are coming out that I'm looking forward to? Probably
okay.
not. Well, there's one on here for you too, man bands.
Oh, really?
Yep. I'll get to that one
Is
in a
it
minute.
another Absolute Sandman?
And we'll see. Scott Snyder and Jim Lee are doing a new Superman, which I'm looking forward to. If you don't know who Scott Snyder is, he's a real huge sort of up-and-coming writer right now who's doing the whole Batman Death of the Family thing, and he's done a couple other things. So he's a huge hotshot guy who's making a lot of waves, and his stories are really good. So I'm looking forward to see what him and Jim Lee, who is a superstar artist, are going to do with Superman. I mentioned earlier that Saga was one of the best comics of 2012, and I want to see more of that. There's definitely more of that coming. Invincible, which is another superhero comic done by Image Comics, but it's a very sort of it's a loving tribute, but at the same time sort of a satire of modern comics. And they're doing their 100th issue where apparently everyone dies. That's a big story coming out this year. There's going to be a new series of comics called Star Wars.
Never heard of
It's
it.
just going to... No. You've heard... I know. It's not going to be like Star Wars The Old Republic or Star Wars The New Empire or whatever. It's just going to be called Star Wars.
Okay.
And what I find interesting about this series is that, first of all, it's getting a lot of attention. Second of all, it's going to be set between episode 4 and episode 5, which there isn't a lot of material about.
No.
They just kind of skip the gap between
And then they're
A
all
New
on
Hope
a
and an
nice
Empire.
planet.
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's attention was between, 5 and 6, but there's been all kinds of stuff in between there. I like the idea of them exploring more of the movie era stuff, which is where my interest always was. Never cared much for what happened after, and what happened before it turned out to be really boring.
What happened before? That was all right.
Yeah, it happened. There were some Jedi, and people died, and some guy became
And
powerful.
the parasite worms, which aren't parasite worms, as Mercenary Pen told me, but I can't remember. I read those things years ago.
The
In the Thrawn
Yasamiri?
series. In the Thrawn series.
Yeah, they're like big rodents. They're
They're
not
the ones that burrowed into Luke.
the ones that remove the force powers.
No, the ones that burrowed into Luke. He had to eat something, and then they were going to eat him from the inside.
The ones that removed your force powers.
Oh,
that
removed-
Thrawn had
yeah,
in like
yeah.
a suit on him.
No.
Yeah, they were
not
like
those
big
things.
rodents.
No, he ate some bugs, and they went inside of him and were going to kill
don't
him from the
remember that.
inside. But then he used I won't give spoilers.
To a book that's like 20 years old.
He used the Force to like feel them, and then he could sense entities inside of them, and so he drove them out.
Oh.
Okay. And then yes, Manpan's is big.
But
Sandman
I do
is
remember
coming.
the monkeys that he wore as a suit. Well, not
I thought
monkeys.
they were
Actually,
they were rodents, weren't they?
They were. I just thought of sloths that were just
Yeah.
hanging on you, right? Look, there's sloths on me, and you don't have any force.
Okay.
Never right.
And then Manpan's favorite, the Sandman 25th anniversary with a new installment coming out.
Wait, there's a new installment?
Isn't that what you were talking about? Neil Gaiman's doing a new chapter to it.
I didn't. Oh.
We talked about this way earlier in the podcast.
Okay, I must have forgotten.
Yeah, so they're doing a 25th anniversary thing. I don't know what they're doing for it, but there is going to be a new installment coming out. I don't know what's going on with that either because I haven't
That's
read
fun.
Sandman.
Oh, it's cool. You know what else is going to be happening? Is American Gods. HBO is going to do a miniseries on American
Really? Are
Gods.
they
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's pretty
because
awesome.
Neil Gaiman just wrote a draft for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then one of the ones I'm looking forward to is the Age of Ultron, which you guys have no interest in, do you?
Ultron.
I don't.
Do you know what Ultron is?
Transformer?
No, he's a Avengers villain.
Okay.
Oh,
It's been a story that's been kind of teased for a couple
Months?
of years now. No, it's been something that's been ongoing that we didn't think was going to happen because the guy who's been writing Avengers for the last decade has left the book to do other stuff. And this was a big storyline he's been teasing for a while, but we thought it wasn't going to happen. It's finally going to happen this year. Ultron is a big sort of... He's a robot cyborg thing that one of the Avengers, Ant-Man, built based on his own brain.
Wait, I know who this is.
Do you?
This was like a long time ago, right? How long ago?
Well, Ultron's been around for a while, but
Yeah.
Age of Ultron is going to be...
He's like a silver guy that has like a spiky thing.
Yeah, he's based on Ant-Man's brainwaves and
Oh, I
Ant-Man's
remember this
costume
from a long
design and
time
whatnot.
ago.
And he's indestructible and he's undefeatable. And every time he shows up, he basically wipes out the Avengers. And it's this huge, desperate fight to get rid of him. And there's been prophesized that there's going to be an age where basically he takes over. It's going to be like an Age of Apocalypse kind of thing, if you know X-Men at all. And then some more comics that I'm looking forward to would be Uncanny Avengers, which is it's the Avengers push to take more of an interest in the mutant side of the Marvel Universe, where it's a team half composed of X-Men, half composed of Avengers, and they're trying to work together towards trying to help mutants and bridge the gap between them. And I find this interesting because in the wake of Professor Xavier's death, where Scott Summers, his most loyal, devout disciple, is basically gone rogue and evil, and he's not evil, but his morals are questionable, and I don't like his direction.
Neutral.
Sure. He's no longer really following Xavier's dream because I guess he doesn't really believe in it anymore, or he believes in his own interpretation of it. I find it fascinating that Captain America has formed his own team to follow Xavier's dream of trying to bridge the gap between humanity and mutants and trying to, bring them together as one.
So does he
sort
team
of
up
people.
with Magneto?
Magneto is currently following Scott.
Yes. That's what I meant. So, cool.
Well, Magneto's sort of been hero for a while, but he's sort of been a gray area. And Scott's sort of taken the X-Men to a very militant place, and that caused Wolverine to leave and form his own school. And then the X-Men sort of divided, and then there was a whole Avengers versus X-Men thing where Scott became the Phoenix Force and basically went evil and killed
G-Force.
Xavier. No, it's there's been a lot of storyline surrounding this, and I like the outcome of it. And then there's the other book, which is the All New X-Men, where Beast is dying, and in a desperate effort to try and redeem Scott Summers, he brings to the future the original team of X-Men from the 1960s to try and confront Scott and try and show him the error of his ways and everything he's lost, which includes his dead wife Jean Grey. And
Oh, weird.
they're trying to cope with a world where Xavier's dead, Scott Summers is the most wanted man on planet Earth. And I mean, for a team that's young and just starting out, and they're seeing the worst possible outcome, I think it's a fascinating story. I recommend it to everybody. And then those are just some comics I thought were interesting.
Cool.
You guys excited for movies this year?
I have no idea what's coming out next year.
There's a
to be
lot coming
honest.
out.
Like what?
Iron Man 3.
I still haven't seen Iron Man.
See Iron Man 2 is only really worth seeing for seeing where the characters go. Is not really great, but Iron Man 3 looks interesting because they've got a couple different storylines that look fascinating, and it's done by Shane Black, who did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and wrote the Lethal Weapon series. So
Right.
he's got
the
some
new,
pedigree behind him.
The new Star Trek's coming out next
Star
year,
Trek,
right?
which is the next one I was on my list, Star Trek Into Darkness, which looks interesting. I'm not sure what they're doing with it. I really hope they're going to avoid doing Wrath of Khan again,
Yeah.
which a lot of people seem to speculate that they're doing, and I really wish they wouldn't, because that's its own thing. Leave it alone. Stop trying to
Yeah.
emulate it.
What else?
Man of Steel, which we talked about at length a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'll see it. I'm iffy on it, but and then one I'm really looking forward to, Monsters University, which
I still don't know how I feel about that.
yeah,
I want to see it.
I'll probably see it.
Yeah, I'll see
but
it.
We'll see. Who knows how it'll do.
I'm iffy on it, only insofar as I'm not sure where Pixar is going anymore. I don't have the same faith in them I used to have. and their history of sequels, Toy Story 2 notwithstanding, I haven't been a huge fan of.
You didn't like Cars 2?
Cars 2 wasn't great. Toy Story
sorry.
3 I wasn't huge on.
That was sarcasm. You should just have a.
But I do
announcement
say
every
that
time.
Cars
What?
is very underrated.
Really? Because I don't.
No?
No, I think it's just rated just fine. Not good.
I think it's better than most people give it credit for. It's not
guess
great, but it's
I'm
not.
not interested in cars. And
Well, neither am I, but it's.
And the what's it called? The premise sort of wears thin fairly quickly for me. It's like, it's cars. Look, there are cars in the stadium, and never mind.
Yeah, I'd still rate it higher than their last couple movies.
No, I think it's because the story is like the same one, underdog.
Yeah, but I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do with it. Is they're just trying to do the classic
honestly-
sports story as a
Cars.
Pixar style in a world made up of animated cars, which I don't have any problem with that premise. Yet, yes, the story isn't that original, but at the same time, not everything they do is that original. They just do their own kind of spin on certain things, or they just add the
I know.
Pixar flair.
I think
so
it was
it's-
just this premise in particular. As I don't. Cars are boring. They always have been for me.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's not like they're taking an engine apart and showing you how to put it back together. It's just sort of, if you set aside that they're cars, it's still a story.
Eh,
And there's just a lot of car jokes to go along with it.
yeah.
But I think you're going to get that during, there's going to be a lot of cooking jokes in Ratatouille. There's
Yeah,
going to be a lot of
exactly.
toy
That's
jokes in
what I'm
Toy
saying.
Story.
It's just the premise itself.
There's going to be a lot of monster jokes in Monsters, Inc.
Yep.
So in Monsters University, I'm sure there's going to be the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm iffy on their sequels. I'm iffy on how they've been lately. But I love
you
Monsters,
really
Inc.
didn't
so
like
much.
Brave, did you?
It wasn't just Brave. Toy Story 3 left a really bitter taste in my mouth, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Toy Story 3.
I liked it up until a certain point, and then the ending I thought was a good ending for the story. I really hope they don't do anything more except for the shorts that they're doing for it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one moment that really kind of I didn't like, because I felt like it betrayed first the message, and then second of all the character of somebody within the story. I'm not going to go into that again.
Okay.
But, I think we've talked about it in a previous podcast, but
We have.
Okay. So Monsters University is
about
coming
Woody.
out. Okay.
a couple more that are coming out. World War Z, World War Z,
Oh, really?
depending on...
That's actually coming out now?
Yeah, the trailer's out for it. It looks ridiculous. Has absolutely nothing to do with the book. It's just basically...
Another zombie film?
But it's like the most cliche and ridiculous zombie film. It looks more like a sequel to, or a prequel to I Am Legend than it does an actual zombie film. Because they seem to be like bizarrely superpowered zombies and strangely organized zombies, not just mindless sort of wandering zombies. And it has less to do with, because the cool thing about the World War Z book was that it was sort of installments of different people's stories surrounding the zombie war and what the various circumstances they all went through. So it became this sort of documentation of personal tales rather than the larger accounts. And this just looks like we're going to set it during that time period, but we're going to make it a generic action film, throw in Brad Pitt as the star and sell it on his name, and then there's going to be zombies and it'll sell well. It feels like the exact opposite way you'd do a World War Z story. Next one is Kick-Ass 2.
Oh, I still have to see Kick-Ass 1.
I liked Kick-Ass. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. It's really cool to see Toronto in a couple shots because there's very obviously Toronto scenes in that, especially when you're driving up and down Yonge Street. Kind of hard to miss that.
Right.
Kick-Ass 2 is fun because it's we haven't seen the book for Kick-Ass 3 yet, and we know at the end of Kick-Ass 2, the comic, it was left on a cliffhanger, so I'll be interested to see what they do with Kick-Ass 2, the story, especially since there's certain things they can't do with it, or they've already done, or they've negated because of certain characters or whatnot.
Right.
I'll be interested to see what they do. They've got a cool cast for it. Yeah. And then there's This Is the End, which is the Judd Apatow gang doing a apocalyptic story where they're all sort of trapped in an apartment together at the end of the world, and they're trying to like deal with each other. And it looks kind of funny, but I think it's a premise that could wear itself thin really quickly. Then there's the Wolverine.
The Wolverine?
The Wolverine.
Is that another?
It's Wolverine, but it's his time in Japan.
Okay.
When he's sort of learning the samurai way, and he kind of gets. It's supposed to take place after X-Men 3.
Oh, fun.
When he's sort of lost and doesn't really know what he's doing with his life.
So he's emo again?
I wouldn't say emo. He's just trying to find his place in the world, and
okay.
It'll be interesting.
Midlife crisis.
Place in this world.
And then there's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, which I don't know where you're going to go with the sequel for that.
I don't know,
but
yeah. I really liked the first one.
I love the first one. I love the guys who did that and Clone High. I think they're really smart and funny. I wasn't a huge fan of 21 Jump Street, but I'll see where they go with this. The long-anticipated Sin City 2.
Oh my God! Really? That's being made?
Yeah, unfortunately, like half their cast is dead, but
yeah,
well, not half, like
one person.
Two.
Who?
Brittany Murphy,
that.
and Michael Clark Duncan are both dead.
Which one did Michael Clark?
Manitou or something like that. Played a great big bodyguard with the golden eye patch.
Really? So he's kind of...
They've recast him. They've recast her character. And then there's Star Wars episodes 2 and 3 in 3D, which nobody cares about.
No.
Old Boy, the remake of the not too old Japanese film. No, Korean film, I think, actually. Asian.
Korean.
Is it Korean? Yeah. Which I know Errol hasn't seen yet, but Man-Pans, have you seen it?
Nope.
Old Boy?
Nope.
It's a good movie. Check it out. Check out the original first.
We have to lend that to you.
Yes, please lend that to me tonight. I want to see that. We'll talk about that one.
So.
We talked about the movie, but I'll talk about the episodes during the next episode. Then there's the one I'm really, really looking forward to, The World's End, which is the next one from Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg. And,
yes. That one, yes.
Yes.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait for that one. Another Thor movie, the sequel to the first one, which it's got Eccleston in it. He's playing the villain.
Oh.
Yes. Hunger Games 2, Catching Fire, which...
I have to read the second book still.
It's got some interesting ideas. I'm really disappointed by where the story went to, but I'll allow it.
Oh. Thank you.
It still feels to me like a watered-down Battle Royale, but whatever. Then we're going to, of course, get Hobbit 2, which still have to see the first one. I can't believe they've made it into more than one movie, but let alone a trilogy.
Really?
Yeah.
And then the one a lot of people seem to be looking forward to, and I can't really care less about, Anchorman 2.
Oh, I don't care much about that, actually.
No? Not a Will Ferrell fan?
I am. I just... I'm not ecstatic, I guess. It's like, Anchorman 2, I guess I can sort of barely remember the first one, except for the more obvious jokes, like I love lamp, and...
Which I don't even remember from that movie. I just remember people quoting it endlessly.
Yeah. But other than that,
and then
I can
the big
barely
fight with the
remember
other
first
anchor
one.
team.
That's it. Is that it?
That's all of my stuff.
That's all your stuff. I don't have anything to add to that. I couldn't really look up stuff for 2013.
I looked up a little bit of stuff. I kind of fell asleep, so wasn't much else I could find. And
you had a lot in there.
Yeah, there was quite a bit there.
So yeah, that's our year in review and our look
I look
ahead.
forward.
Woo-hoo!
And
anything you want to add, Errol? You're awfully quiet this episode.
I finished the tail bobble on my 4th Totoro.
Okay. Errol's enjoying this way too much.
All right, so I guess
that's it for us this year.
Thanks for listening this year, guys.
Thank you.
And again, have a happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year. My name is not Man-Pans.
My name is Ja-Mez.
And I'm not Errol.
Woohoo! You're getting good at that.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter at 3 Geeks in a Pod. That is the number 3. Or you can like us on Facebook.
Get all the news and updates about podcasts and videos and other announcements in our blog, 3geeksinapod.wordpress.com. Again, that is the number 3. Stay in touch with friends and fans in the forums at our sister site, debsanderrol.com. Or if you want to contact us directly, email us at 3geeksinapod@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next time.